Hello, I'm Mubarak Kenya, and a warm welcome to Africa Today, a program that takes you on a journey through Africa. We cover wide-ranging current affairs in the continent and also highlight various aspects of the continent's rich history, culture, and civilization. In the first segment of our show today, we are focusing on the recent deadly clashes in Somalia's breakaway region of Somaliland and the semi-autonomous Puntland region. There is concern that the United States plans to build a military base in Somaliland with the covert objective of balkanizing Somalia, a very strategic Horn of Africa nation. The second part of our program is focusing on reports that the U.S. trained military officers involved in several coups and coup attempts in Africa over the last 3 years. What is the U.S. pursuing in its continued destabilization of Africa? Join our experts as they give us their insight. And you can be part of the conversation today by sending your comments and views through our social media handle appearing on the screen.
U.S. and NATO Balkanizing Somalia. Since early February, there has been heavy fighting in the northern Somali city of Las Anod between troops of Somalia's breakaway region of Somaliland and local militia in northern Somalia. Somaliland declared its independence from Mogadishu in 1991. In February, officials associated with the Sul, Sanag, and Kane, the SSC regions in Somaliland, declared they will be administered by the federal government of Somalia. This decision was rejected by Somaliland, leading to deadly clashes in an area bordering Puntland, a semi-autonomous region of Somalia. As Somaliland forces battled Somali nationalists, U.S.-led NATO officials met secessionist Somaliland President Muse Bihi Abdi. As tensions continue to rise in this region, the U.S. is moving ahead with plans to build a military base in Somaliland's Somaliland Berbera. Analysts believe this decision is in tandem with NATO's nefarious objective of balkanizing Somalia.
Most people in Somalia have categorically rejected any attempts to fragment the country and have insisted that they back a united Somalia. A Somalia activist speaks here after a unity meeting in Nairobi last February.
I only want to send only one message that Somaliland are killing innocent people. They have been shelling for 14 days consecutive Las Anod for nothing. They have been fighting for Las Anod for the last 15 years, which is wrong. And we want to tell the international community that we are people of Las Anod. We are unity. We are there for unity of Somalia. We are not there for a separation of Somalia.
For more on the recent clashes in Las Anod, Somalia, we have contacted Jonathan Ofei Ansar, the publisher of Africa Briefing. Thanks a lot, sir, for your time. Now, do you think the U.S.-led NATO military alliance is backing secessionists in their battle with nationalists in Somalia?
While it is true that the external actors can play, an exacerbating a role in exacerbating conflicts or pursuing their own interests in the particular region, the presence of these foreign military forces can sometimes also escalate tensions and fuel resentment among local populations. Additionally, the pursuit of economic and strategic interest by external actors can also sometimes, exacerbate existing conflicts or create new ones. And ultimately, the situation in Somaliland is complex, right? And there are multiple factors at play. And so while the US, EU, and NATO have expressed interest in establishing a military presence in the region, it is actually difficult to determine the extent to which they are contributing to the conflict. And it's also important for all external actors to respect the sovereignty of the region and they also work towards a peaceful resolution of the conflict.
In 2018, there were military tensions between the United States and China in Djibouti. In a provocative move, the Pentagon claimed that Chinese lasers injured U.S. military pilots in Djibouti. The then China's foreign ministry spokesperson refuted the allegations, saying they were in complete contradiction to the facts.
I can tell you the Chinese side, having conducted serious checks, has already clearly told the US side that their so-called criticisms totally do not accord with the facts.
The United States is most likely planning to build a massive naval base in the Berbera port in Somaliland as an alternative to its military base in neighboring Djibouti, where the Chinese established a military base seen as too close for comfort for Washington.
Yeah, there have been reports, yes, speculation that the U.S. is actually using the Berbera port as an alternative to its military base, its neighboring military base in Sudan. You know, the Chinese establishment of a base in Djibouti in 2017 raised concerns in Washington about China's expanding military presence in Africa and its potential threat to U.S. interests in the region. Okay, and the U.S. has, shown interest in using the port, for military purposes. With some reports suggesting that the U.S. military has already established a presence there. But the U.S. has not officially confirmed or denied the reports, but it has acknowledged that it is closely monitoring the situation in the region. And also, while the U.S. may be using the Berbera port as an alternative to the base in Djibouti, it is important to consider that the larger geopolitical factors, at play in the region, including China's influence and the competition for control over strategic resources and shipping routes.
Analysts believe that the U.S. and other NATO military alliance member states have adopted a dual-track policy. While claiming to assist the central administration in Mogadishu, these imperialist powers are also strengthening the breakaway region of Somaliland. A weak and balkanized Somalia is in the interests of imperialist powers bent on controlling the strategic Horn of Africa region.
On the 17th of April, a group of major European powers and the US issued a statement about their talks with Somaliland secessionists waging war against Somali nationalists. Now, do you think this meeting is reinforcing the West's de facto recognition of the breakaway region of Somaliland and encouraging the Balkanization of Somalia?
Look, it is worth noting that the situation in Somalia is complex, and that, there are multiple actors with competing interests and agenda. The conflict in the Sool, Sanang, Kane regions is just one of the many challenges facing the country. It's which is also grappling with issues such as terrorism, poverty, and political instability. So while the international partners have an important role to play, in promoting peace and stability in Somalia, the ultimate responsibility for resolving the country's problems actually lies with the Somali people themselves.
Somalia coast is of geostrategic importance due to its location along the Gulf of Aden, the Arabian Sea, and the Indian Ocean. Now, this country may have the richest untapped oil and uranium reserves in the world. Now, is this the reason foreign powers are meddling in the country to ultimately loot its resources?
Most likely, any country, especially that's the story of Africa, where, there are huge reserves. Look, we take the DRC, there's problem with the DRC, which, most of us believe, is the work of external forces, just to divide the people, create disunity for them to exploit, the resources in the country. So the same, could apply to Somaliland.
The people of Somalia speak one language, share one culture, and practice one religion. The people in this country desire peace and stability, as these Somalia activists point out here.
We're here today as Somalis to manifest